Hi guys, and welcome to something slightly different. This is of course Euro Truck Sim 2. Those of you that watch the streams will know that I do dabble in this every now and again. I don't claim to be an expert by any way, shape or form, or do I tend to be able to say I can drive brilliantly. When I can get my engine started. There we go. It's not all doom and gloom for you train fans. We are hauling a train. This is the plan. I thought I'd need to keep it a little bit train-like, don't I? So that's what we're going to do. Now, I've never done an ETS2 video, so it's going to be driving and talking. That is a bit strange for me. Usually I play this as my sort of relaxation, my slight difference when it comes to... after doing train sim, I tend to then do a little bit of ETS2 sometimes. Sometimes a bit of firm bus. Just depends on what mood I'm in, really. So let's see where I'm going. Yeah, up here, that's fine. So yeah, I thought I'd bring you along for a little trip. Let me move that camera and not crash. I'm in this, the RJL. Please forgive me if I've got that wrong. The RJL Scania T mod, which I love. It being... I've even got it in worn in yellow as well. The thing with the Scania T is, when I was younger, and I was in the truck, still love a lorry, still love a good truck, but they don't massively catch me all the time. But the T series of Scanias really, with the R series that became the T, was beautiful, and I've always loved it. I know it's very cliche and everybody loves it, but I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon a little bit. Now, there is lots of good people out there that already do ETS2. You've got Daggerwin, who's one of my favourites, and also Squirrel, who I watch every now and again as well, do a bit of ETS2. He does some cool stuff. I am running with Pro Mods, and I am running... I can't think what other mods I have installed at the minute. Back up, so it takes some concentration. I don't play it that often to get good at it. Do you know what I mean? Not that I play train sim all the time, I'm no good at that either. But, right, 17-hour journey. This is a fair whack, but a bit of it's on a ferry, so we should be able to do it in one go, I hope. Wicked. Right, let's get on the road a little bit. So we will crash. We will have some fun. If this video goes well and you guys enjoy it, I might start doing a little bit of multiplayer and sort of invite a few of you guys along for a bit as well. May even start doing some streams of it. I don't want it to become a bit of a chore, is the main thing. I don't want it to be I don't want it to lose its appeal for me, which is always an issue when you start playing games and start doing YouTube videos and everything like that with them. You sort of can burn yourself out quite quickly, and I'm not burnt out by train sim at all, don't get me wrong, but it was that I had my joystick set up, not my joystick, my steering wheel set up, and needed to change a few bits and pieces on it the other day, so I thought, why not do a little video with ETS2? I've not done it yet. I've done firm bus. I did one video of firm bus, and that didn't go down brilliantly, but it wasn't the worst in the world, so I thought, why not do this? Now, graphics mods and everything like that, I haven't got any in. I know there are some decent ones out there. I do try and sort of keep up to date with what goes on in the mod world for ETS2, but I am nowhere near as knowledgeable about it as, say, I am about train sim. So you guys will know a lot more than I do, because there's a lot of you guys that play this an awful lot. And there does seem to be a bit of a link. It's either people play train sim and ETS2 and like the bus sims and OMSI and things like that, or you tend to be a train sim person that likes flight sim. I don't know many people that do flight sim, train sim and ETS2. And to be fair, it's been a long while since I've done flight sim, so I can kind of count myself in that camp, if I'm honest. this is heavy. So we've got like a little shunter on the back. I'll try and line myself up. I hate going out of the cab in this game, like with a passion. It's not the best lorry to have used for this. I do have a Volvo that I've got set up for doing the big heavy stuff, but I thought, nah, the Scania will pull it. Might not pull it very fast, but she'll pull it. I think the whole thing with the driving sims as well, what it does to me is sort of plays to my love of hardware, especially computer hardware. So I've got the Logitech G20, well, it's a G920, it's the G27, but the PS4 version, the one that works with the PS4. And for me, it works out brilliantly. I love all the little buttons, I love the dials, I've got my cruise control set up and everything, and as much of my buttons as I can have set up, I have set up. And I've got the little twisty knob. The twisty knob is set up for speed increments and decreases for ETS2 for this cruise control. I do try and drive kind of sensibly. Usually, I'll be honest, I'll put the jazz on. I think it's a Norwegian jazz station that's in the radio list, and I'll just usually stick that on and do a couple of runs before I go to bed, or sometimes in the middle of the day. If especially like today, like a Wednesday when I've been recording all morning, I'll quite often put a little bit of ETS2 on midday just to give me a break from train sim more than anything, which is always quite nice. Where am I going here? Just carrying on to the right. Oh, come on, I've had no traffic issues at all. I haven't had any traffic in this game all day. I've did quite a big run, and now we seem to be stuck at some lights, and it's quite busy. What time is it? Yeah, it's 6:30. It's fair enough. Oh, that means we might be going into the night, but that's all right. That's all right. ETS2 looks quite nice at night, and it's only short as well. I'm going straight over it. See, I do things like that. I don't even know why I indicated. It's that herd mentality. If I see other cars doing it, I tend to try and do it myself. And the one thing I love about ETS2 is it's not that much younger than Train Sim, and it's the way it does things isn't how I would like to see a Train Sim done. There isn't masses of actual simulation involved. So like nothing's really clickable in the cab. You can fiddle with your tag axle and things like that. You can do the differentials, you can do all that sort of jazz. But you can't really have a fiddle in the play, and that's kind of what I like in simulators a lot of the time. Fernbus does that really well. I mean, you can pretty much flick every switch in the whole thing. So it does make a bit of a difference in this sometimes where you can't kind of fiddle with bits. Oh, we're slowly climbing this. Let's have a look. Oh, come on. Let's hope we don't get any big hills. I don't drive it in, I have it in real automatic. I don't have it in in manual. I don't have an H-box, and I'd like that, or at least a splitter. You can get some really cool mods in that. That puts a splitter knob on and everything like that. I'd like to see that, and then I probably would give it a go. But because I use this more just to chill out, I don't tend to be that into the whole gearing side aspect of it. There is just something quite relaxing. I haven't tried multiplayer. I've heard it's a bit hairy. That will probably be the next video in this series, would be multiplayer. And I love the slightly more retro cab in the Scania T as well. So I think the last of these were made 2005, was it? I think Scania stopped doing these. Because if you look at like the new R series and stuff that's in this, the cabs, I mean, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it is very, very, very modern. Very, very modern. I quite like the slightly, see, it doesn't seem retro to me, you know what I mean? It just seems quite normal. But I suppose that's because I'm getting old now. Things that still looked quite modern to me are looking a bit retro these days to other people. The other thing I'd like to say about ETS is the sounds. Now, I know there are sound mods out there for things, and things I haven't given any of them a try. I really should. But the sounds to me have always been a little bit of a letdown for the immersion factor. Oh, I think I should have been doing 70 kilometers an hour through there. Ah, well. Oh look, we've discovered on Skotterdorfvik. Come on, can we get through that green? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah. Cut that roundabout just a little bit, but hey, keep the momentum going, yeah? When I was younger, my teenage years, a good friend of mine then, his dad owned a commercial yard, so they bought and sold lorries. So a lot of my weekends were spent bumbling about in lorries. I actually went to their formal prom in a 1982 Ford Transcontinental, I think it was, 82 I think. That was a beast, that was. But it was actually my mate's little brother that was phenomenal. He could literally take a trailer and park it wherever you wanted, and that was from about the age of about 12, 13. He was amazing. He now runs a very successful haulage company, does all sorts, containers down to specialist car transport, does loads. And he's got a really beautiful DAF called the Firefighter, which is stunning. Stunning bit of work. So yeah, I never really had the guts to drive one. I mean, I had the opportunity, but I never really had the guts to give one a go when I was young, and I really wish I had these days. I think at one point he even bought a T-cab scanner. I don't know if he's still got it or what he did with it. But back in those days, I was a really big fan of like the Renault Magnums, and what else did I really like back then? Volvo FH12s. Really loved an FH12. Then a blue one at the yard for ages. A dark blue Globetrotter with a big high cab and a sleeper. That was very cool. It mainly dealt in MANs, to be honest with you, though. Used to always have weird things like fire engines and all sorts of strange things kicking about the yard that were always cool to have a little poke and a play with, though. And I always watch lorries on the motorway and sometimes think, that's got to be quite a cool job. And then I sort of get my senses and go, that really isn't for me. Really, really isn't for me. I mean, recently, it just randomly came up after one of the Paul's trip reports or whatever it was. It was what was it called? Was it Luke C and his HGV? Is that the one I watched? Since there's quite a few of them, I used to watch that Trucker J quite often. Again, I found him really randomly. I used to watch some of his videos, and I had a day binging on this Luke C and an HGV thing. And then I watch those videos and I go, yeah, I'm glad I don't do that as a job. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a bad job in any way, shape or form, it's just not for me. I would love to be put in... Oops! See, when you would do something bad, I should have looked. I would love to be put in charge of some great big 30 tonnes worth of lorry and trailer. That'd be great. But as you've just seen, I'm not to be trusted. And the whole idea of sleeping in the cab and things, I quite like that idea. But then everybody I know, like mate Tom, he's a driver and everything like that, and there's a few mates I've got that are lorry drivers, and none of them like sleeping in their cabs. But to me, that sounds like a cool bit. So it's obviously not as cool as I think it is. And I don't really want to experience that. I don't want to career change into it and then discover I really don't like it. And like my mate, another mate of mine, his dad was a lorry driver for Summerfield, and he used to like get home at 2 in the morning. Get home at whoa, not looking. He used to get home at like 2 in the morning, and then he used to start work at 2 in the morning, get home at 2 in the afternoon. It's like he was never really around. He was always asleep every time he went to his house. Oh, where's Von? Oh, he's asleep. Oh, that might be an issue. We're a bit taller, aren't we? Oh. Let's actually follow the right bit for trucks, shall we? Am I going to fit through there? got to admit, that Scania T does look very cool with the long line cab on it. Yep, that'll do. It's going to be dark when we get off here anyway. Well, that far north, it's not making too much of a difference. That one looked like a speed bump, but wasn't. Try it doesn't bump about too much over that bump. There we go. Right, Finland. Let's hope it's not like my summer car in real life. Does my crab have an... It doesn't have an inbuilt sat-nav on this one. That's one thing I would like. If you guys know of a mod where I can move where the sat-nav is, that would be great. I could do it with my top left, would be very nice. Because it's kind of behind my steering wheel. There it is there. Oh, I've just thought I'm gonna have to park this up. I actually have to park the trailer and I on a video. Dun, dun, dun. I'm really bad at parking trailers at the best of times. Put myself over a bit so I can swing round this corner. you know what I also like not driving ETS2 so much is I don't find it that repetitive. I find the gameplay quite repetitive, but I don't find the scenery too repetitive, funnily enough. Which is a really odd thing to say considering how critical I am about train sim stuff. Those weird style hay bales in the UK used to drive me nuts, but I think they're gone now. I drove through London the other day when I was playing with this on the latest version of Pro Mods, and I was like, this is lovely. It has a bit of a London look about it. And I think that's all you can expect from ETS. It's just a flavour of what things are like. It's not like train sim where you've got to have everything as required, because it just wouldn't be possible. But ETS2 still manages to cram an awful lot in, and on a decent engine. I mean, I've never, even on a potato laptop, you can run ETS2 quite nicely. It's a very nice engine by the looks of it. I don't know what it's like to work with or anything like that. But if sort of the graphical engine could be used in a simulator like train sim, I think it wouldn't be that bad at all. Well, in this day and age, it's still quite old, so it wouldn't be something you'd want to go for. What does that flashing light just mean? Match. Oh! Just put a lot of time onto that, missing that. That flashing light should have meant, Alan, have a look at your sat nav and just check you're not turning down there. Can't do this in train sim. You can miss your stop. I suppose that is a bit like missing a stop. But what you can do is this. No coppers. Oh yeah, it was coppers. Oh, that didn't happen. I would have been quite content taking the longer way around if I had to, but there was a gap there, so I took it. That looks quite pretty up ahead, doesn't it? I don't say it necessarily looks realistic. It just looks pretty. Dawn somewhere in Finland. How much fuel have I got actually? Yeah. Plenty. Big old tank in this. Some of the vehicles can get a bit repetitive. I'd like to see if there's any mods for AI traffic and stuff. But things like the real trucking companies and things like that makes a massive difference this game. Real names on deliveries where you're going and things like that, again, makes a big difference for the immersion, at least. And the immersion's kind of there, considering how short, so how much things are shortened, is the immersion is still there. I mean, you can still do runs that take you a few hours. I think to get from one end of the map to the other will take you a few hours. This run alone is going to be 45 minutes, 50 minutes, I reckon. And this is a tiny stretch. Tiny stretch. Ooh. Better slow down, bus. Even though I should have stopped to let the bus pass, but I'm not going to. Very important, heavy cargo. Somewhere in Finland needs a shunter. And also what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get quite north to try and do some more routes around sort of Scandinavia, Iceland, that sort of way. I haven't been into Russia with this yet in the game. I'd like to get up there and try that out as well. But some of the roads in Sweden and Norway and Finland are stunning in this game. Iceland is brilliant. I've been up to Iceland a couple of times in my other profile. This profile here, this was a modded profile that just came with lots of money and everything like that, but started you off still with nothing, which I quite like. And the workshop integration with this has been quite nice as well. Quite like the way workshops worked well for it. I think I bought ETS2 on a DVD first time. Or was that UK Trucks? I think that might have been UK Truck Simulator. Because the original Euro Truck didn't have the UK in it. Or it didn't at the start when I played it, I think. And this game is worked on mods, and that's what I really like about it. It's got that sort of same sort of thing as Train Sim, where it's the user created content is big, and big business as well. I mean, there's some definitely some payware stuff, but there's a lot of freeware stuff, and I like that. I like that a lot. And just like train spotters, there are some real serious truck spotters. Real serious truck spotters. And they're a slightly different breed than a train spotter. Yeah, I didn't go into that lane because I had a big trailer to swing round, mate. It was clearly indicating. Also very pleased it hasn't rained yet. Oh, that's pretty. What's that thing got to be 60, 70 tonnes at least, isn't it? There's a Magnum there. That's been replaced now by the Range T, isn't it? Is it Range T? It's another lorry I quite like the look of as well. Well, Renault trucks have always had a little bit of a bad name, haven't they? Well, I don't know if it's just the lorry circles I've been in. Nobody really liked them. A lot of the time in this game I just need to slow down. It's not necessarily that I've got it right, it's just you need to slow down and do it a bit slower. Gorgeous, isn't it? Sorry. Slinjavi. I know that's definitely not how you pronounce them, don't get me wrong. I keep thinking there are people by the side of the road on the left-hand side, but they're not. fast. I am going to need fuel at some point, but not on this run, I don't think. Next, when we've dropped off, we'll need to go and get fuel before we do anything next. I think I drove all the way from Calais in this. Calais or Luxembourg? I can't remember. I think maybe Luxembourg. I'd sort of wait around until I got the right load that would work. And of course, the train was like, couldn't have really asked for better for a train sim channel generally. Should I get some fuel now? No, I definitely don't need fuel now. Not with this load on the back either, we'd never got under the petrol station. Under the canopy there. Oh, crap. Serves me right. Definitely serves me right, that does, doesn't it? Told ya, slow down. It's the impatience in me. And if I'd just stayed at the steady speed, I would have been way ahead. Be a nice tight one, didn't it? Let's try and get as close to that as we can. Oh yeah, we're in. That's all right. I hate these real thin roads. Oh, another person being nicked over there. Been a bit of a crash actually by the looks of it. Oh, and I'm going to waving lanes. It's quite nice up here because you... Whoa! Well, there are some runway lights there. You're not on the big motorways that often up on this part of the map. Which sometimes you really need. Just driving, especially like doing through France and Germany and stuff like that, you're on the motorways an awful lot. But sometimes it's nice just to get on these sorts of roads where they're single carriageway, no overtaking, you get a little overtaking spot. But don't get me wrong, you don't want to be doing it all the time, because sometimes it's nice to thrash these, which is what I tend to try and do sometimes. When you do like 130 kilometres an hour in it and stuff, that's good fun. But sometimes it's also fun trying to do it by the book. Trying being the word there. It's quite weird driving without any music. Tractors. Oh, shouldn't have been looking at the tractor, should I? It's close. It must be nearly there. 1 hour and 9 minutes left. I can't remember what the time scale is in this. So like 5 minutes to every hour or something. I know it was a yellow line I shouldn't have overtaken, but I had decent momentum. I was about to say, we basically did a bridge strike with the train in this, but it wasn't a bridge we struck, it was the canopy, wasn't it? There was a picture up not that long ago of a 156 being on the back of a lorry striking a bridge. I have a bit more control over that jackhammer dart. Well, I need to actually focus on what I'm doing, and that's driving. Let alone moaning about you with your jackhammer. That's karma, isn't it? That'd be like one of those instant karma videos. No, am I seriously dragging that? Oh. Where am I catching? That's because this wheel's trying to steer in there, isn't it? Try to get those wheels round. Hey, we got there in the end. We got there in the end. See that little bit of dynamic interaction there is something that I like, that train sim can't offer that well. I could drive up this road in 10 minutes time and it'd be different. Whereas in train sim you could drive the same route on the same scenario 40 million times over and nothing changes. See, everything, I think even most of the faults, I think apart from the ADD on the 90, which very few people have ever had happen anyway, has to be triggered in. Right, now to work out where we're actually going in here. It's a rather pretty little town. Right, this is going to be the embarrassing bit now, isn't it? Because this is where I'm going to have to park this up. With you guys watching me, in theory. Dun dun dun. Oh, hang on, usually these are all round the back and that in these ones as well, aren't they? Right, where does he want it? Not a chance. Yeah, come on then, we'll try it. We'll try. We'll try. Why they're bringing a train into here, I don't know. Can I swing in the... No, because that block that's there. got enough length to pull it up straight. So I'll look at that. What are we looking at? See, I want the wheels to go the opposite way. That's enough for me. Oh God, it's going to make me do it. Actually moved it further than it needed to. Right guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I did until the very end. The last 5 minutes were a bit sketchy, but I quite enjoyed doing that. It was alright doing it on video as well. Please make sure you let me know what you think of this video down below. Stick a bit in the comments for me. Once again guys, thanks ever so much. Head on to Twitch from a Sunday from 7 PM and a Wednesday from 7 PM for more train sim goodness. Maybe even a little UKTS. UKTS? Not that. Euro Truck Sim 2. So, as always, it's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure, and I can't quite get this to come out so I can click on anything at the moment. There we go. Once again, guys, thanks ever so much. See you soon.